Sean Ellis.
Good evening. And welcome to the Voices of the Innocence, Dreams of Freedom. It is an honor to be with you all tonight. From 1993 to 2015, I was wrongfully convicted for a crime I did not commit. I was sentenced to die in prison. But I would not let that be the end of my story. And now, tonight, I stand here in front of you as a director of the Exoneree Network and part of this amazing and growing community. During my 22 years of fighting for my freedom, it was not always easy to maintain hope. In fact, prison is designed to make us feel helpless and separate from the things that help to make us feel human, like love and education. But I refused to let go of my humanity. One of the things that kept me going was knowing that I was not alone. I was incarcerated with other people who were wrongfully convicted. And they are much like family to me now. Some of them have since been freed and are here with us tonight. With the help of organizations like the New England Innocence Project. Yet many others are still behind the wall. Just last week, I was asked to describe in one word this work, and I said ongoing. This work is ongoing because there are still people who are in prison and people who need to be healed. Tonight's event is an important part of bringing those brothers and sisters home where they belong. During my incarceration, the last prison that I was transferred to was MCI Norfolk. Many of us who served the sentence of life without the possibility of parole end up there. And it is there that I first heard of the OGs. The original gentlemen. There was one song in particular that we all thought of as our anthem, written by Exoneree Albert Brown while he himself was serving a wrongful incarceration. It was called I Cry Freedom. It seems fitting that so many of us free and in this room tonight should hear this song again in hopes that we can make more dreams of freedom come true for those who we left behind the wall. I know many of you here have heard that song and know the words, and if you do, please sing along. But without further ado, performing their original song, I Cry Freedom, is Jabea Pope, Albert Brown, and Josh Fernandez. They are accompanied by attorney Jeff Harrison. Please welcome the OGs.
We'd like to dedicate this song to each and every one of you.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Brother, brother, brother. Sister, sister, sister. Let's all make a stand and strive to break free from all the things systems that enslave us. Brothers, can't you see? Can't you see? The birds fly high up and free. Anguish feelings inside of me. But right now I'm feeling so bad about what's going down, going down. So I cry freedom, freedom, freedom today. We cry freedom, freedom, freedom today. Mothers and fathers are crying. Our children are dying from violence, drugs, and alcohol. And that's not all. That's not all. It's all up to you and me. We gotta save our children, reclaim our communities, 'cause their tomorrow depends on you and me, you and me. So I cry freedom, freedom, freedom today. We cry freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. We want it for you, and I want it for me. Freedom, 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 freedom. We want it for you, and I want it for me. Freedom, 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 freedom. We want it for you, and I want it for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand to Mr. Jeff Harris.
Please welcome to the stage culture columnist for the Boston Globe and activist Janae Osterheld.
Please give it up for the OGs one more time. Again, I am Janae Osterheld, Deputy Managing Editor at the Boston Globe, culture columnist and founder of A Beautiful Resistance. That's where we celebrate Black joy, liberation, and remind people what it is we're fighting for by celebrating our lives. How y'all feeling? Wait a minute, we live in Boston, don't we? How are y'all feeling? I thought I was somewhere else real quick. Listening to I Cry Freedom and thinking about tonight's theme, Dreams of Freedom, really roots me in the moment in this chapter of our American lives, in the oppression that we are fighting, the violence that we are facing. And it's not always the obvious violence. It's the violence that's in the air, the American urge to figure out how you can overpower and stomp on somebody and call it liberation. Here, we are celebrating what it looks like to be free, what it looks like to witness what happens when we are not. And when I was asked to come here, I don't MC a lot. I don't do a lot of hosting. I do a lot of moderating and keynote speeches and conversations, but I don't do a lot of hosting. But when I was asked to come here, it was an emphatic and immediate yes. The work of the Innocence Project has always been so important to me, not just for us as a people, but also for very selfish reasons. My little brother went to prison when he was 15. He is still in there now. And he did do what they said he did. But I think as we fight for people who are wrongly convicted, one of the beautiful things that happens is we also fight for people who are over-convicted and who are over-sentenced. We fight against the way these prisons have become these capitalistic systems to oppress. We fight against the way preschoolers are suspended at a rate 4 times higher than their white counterparts, because we know that that pipeline starts that young. My little brother will not be on the other side of that wall till he is almost 70. And I have not talked to him in 20 years because that's not what he wants. That is his form of protection. My father said he's protecting me. I got a package of all of my pictures and letters in the mail one day, and he said, I just can't. And that's what Sean was saying, like, that's what happens. You go in there, and they don't preach reform. They don't do humanity. They figure out ways to take away your hope. So being here matters to me because this work is how we are reminded that our humanity is in one another and that you shouldn't have to be an angel to have grace and to have recovery and to have transition resources and mental health resources. You shouldn't have to be an angel for people to want to support you. So that's why being here matters to me, and it's why this work is so important. And we want to first acknowledge the people not in the room tonight, the people across New England who are in prison cells, whose loved ones are still incarcerated, waiting for their dreams of freedom to come true. It is in their names and in their honor that we have all gathered here tonight to make a better, beautiful future for a liberated community. New England Innocence Project staff, dedicated, skilled freedom fighters, volunteers who share their time and wisdom, production partners who make tonight's event possible, our sponsors, acknowledging some of the people and organizations that have so generously sponsored this event so the work of the New England Innocence Project and the Exoneree Network can fight alongside people for their freedom and support them when they are free, so then when they get free, they can stay free. This is not easy work. This is the hard stuff. This is the stuff that requires grit and grace and invisible, aggressive faith. It takes a long time and requires significant resources. Each of the sponsors for this event make dreams of freedom possible, helping to reunite people with their loved ones, helping to prevent these injustices from continuing. So thank you. And our Arc of Justice honoree, we are thrilled to honor Al Canib this year as the recipient of the 2025 Arc of Justice Award. A little more Boston with a capital B. We will have a special presentation for and about him later in the evening, but I just wanted to acknowledge him with some of that big Boston loud love for his dedication in supporting people impacted by incarceration. His generosity and humility are a model for us all. Finally, for those of you watching from home, hey boo, hey. We know about the watch parties in Boston and Providence and Portland, Maine and Worcester. There's probably even more than we don't know about. I had to learn how to say Worcester when I moved up here. I thought it was like Worcestershire sauce. Shay Anderson had to get me together. We are so grateful that you are able to be a part of this special evening. Please comment on the feed to tell us where you are and send notes of encouragements to our storytellers and freedom fighters. Now for our intro to this amazing and stirring night of storytelling. I'm on stage a lot. A lot. Every month, multiple times. And I've been a journalist for 24 years. I acutely know how hard it is to bare your soul, how hard it is to get on these stages, how hard it is to put your feelings and your life on pages. So let's acknowledge how hard it is, how difficult it is to get up on stage in front of people, those you know and those you don't, to be vulnerable, to talk about trauma, to bear your bruises and stand in your joy. We are so grateful that you have chosen to share so much of yourselves and to allow us to benefit from your experience and wisdom. These storytellers were supported by Cheryl Hamilton and the Stellar Story Company, and now we hope you will support them by being warm, attentive, and cheering them on. And we're gonna cheer them on with a capital B, right? First up is Stephen Pina. Stephen was wrongfully convicted of a 1993 Boston murder and spent 28 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Even though a superior court judge has already found that his conviction was unjust, he continues to have to fight for his full exoneration. Let's welcome him to the stage. Big, beautiful, and warm. Let's go.
My first 2 hours home, walking into the building that I grew up in, to go upstairs, ride this 6th-floor elevator ride to see my mother. In the lobby with friends and family, like overwhelmed, excited. Whew, what a feeling. I'll never forget that. There are other things that I remember that I would love to forget. Guilty, first-degree murder, sentenced to the rest of your natural life in prison. What just happened? Wait. Turn around. Look at my mother. There's this numbness in her face, but her eyes are saying the same thing. What just happened? What's going on? Then there's the memory of leaving the Kingdom Hall. I grew up Jehovah's Witness, and it's raining. It's raining, as they say, cats and dogs. And usually when we left and the weather was, crazy, my mother would get us a ride or call a cab. But today she said, we're gonna walk home in the rain. And we walked home in the rain. I don't know who splashed who first, but we splashed each other. We jumped in puddles, man. We were singing and dancing like the movie, Singing in the Rain. And I remember us just soaking wet with our arms out, the rain hitting our faces, and the smile and joy that my mother had. I had to get back to that. Had to get back to that smile. And if any of y'all know Ma P, which she's affectionately known by as from my fellow incarcerated brothers, y'all know that smile. Standing in the law library at Walpole, looking at these books. And if anybody knows, man, learning the law is like learning Chinese arithmetic. And I'm looking at these books. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at. And this older guy walks up. He said, what do you see? I'm like, what you mean what I see? He's like, what do you see? See numbers, man. He's like, yeah, but what else you see? Northwest Reporter. What else you see? I don't know, man. And he points. And there's this little key on the book. I said, it's a key. He said, that's the key to you getting home. So I spent my first 6 years in the library. I call it library instead of law library. Morning, afternoon, and night. And there are times when it gets tough. The appeals are denied. And I remember calling my mother. And I would, she would always ask me, how you doing? And I'd be like, I'm all right, Ma, I can't, I got to be strong for her. I can't, And one thing about our God, right, Jehovah God, he's an amazing God. He never allowed me and my mother to be weak at the same time. When I was weak, she was strong. When she was weak, I was strong. And I remember her asking me one day, Steve, how much time you got? What did they give you? And I'm like, Mom, what do you? But remembering, there was a numbness with her. And I said, life, Mom. She's like, what does that mean? I said, I got life without the possibility of parole. That means I'm going to die in prison. I don't know what that did to Mom, man, but she became my biggest advocate. We created this flyer that said Steve is innocent, and it had like a summary of the case, and she was out handing those out, man, sticking them on the wall wherever she could, handing them to whoever she could. And I remember one time calling, and she was like, well, I was just over in Mission Hill. And I'm like, whoa, you can't go over there, Ma. This is where the guy was. I don't know him. I don't know his friends. I don't know. You cannot go over there. Please. But it paid off, man. It paid off. My number one advocate, it paid off. March 9th, 2022. The judge says, as for your motion to stay, a motion to stay is when they let you go until they make a decision. I'm going to allow you to go home. I'm back in the building, y'all. Riding that elevator upstairs with all my friends and some of my family, and we're like, I'm anxious. I'm about to see my mom, who couldn't be in court because she was sick that day. And we get off the elevator, man, I'm telling everybody, yo, y'all go first, y'all go first. And everybody's going in the door, and I can hear her. Oh my God, you're here. Oh my God, you're here. Oh, Sai, give us Sai. Oh, Droop, you here. And here I am, right? I'm the last one. The door getting ready to close, but I'm like this outside, like. And I walk in, and all I hear is, oh my God, my baby's home. My baby's home. I can't believe it. And she hugs me and she grabs my face and she says, 28 years, 28 years. My baby's home. I'm home. I'm home. I love you, Mom. Me and you against the world, then, now, and always.
One more time, because that is what tonight is about. This is why we're here, so people can come home again. When people are incarcerated, they're taken from their family. They're taken from their closest connections. We are so deeply rooted in who we are and whose we are. Who loves us? Who sees us? Who believes in us when we don't? Who fills the void? Incarceration seeks to just destroy all of that. It makes it incredibly hard. For decades, they have only had memories of freedom, snapshots in time that not even the injustice of the criminal legal system can take. Those memories that we all cling to, that no one can get to because they're in our spirit. These memories give people the type of hope and drive to fight their wrongful convictions. And I think these types of memories give those of us on the outside the radical audacity to help. This is how we inspire dreams of freedom for the future, of a time when people can be reunited with their loved ones. Stephen was able to come home and see his mother, her hands on his face. That just beautiful rallying call of "I'm home." As we celebrate the strength of their relationship, there are still so many people behind bars who are waiting for the day when they too can feel someone's hands on their face. Tonight, with your support, we can make these reunions happen. Our next speaker also has a story covered in love that she shares with her husband, Keon Sprinkle. Keon was wrongfully convicted of a Boston murder and spent 20 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Let's give a warm New England welcome to Kenyatta Moon Sprinkle.
Good evening, everyone. So, I'm 26 years old, and I was working at the Boys and Girls Club as an administrative assistant, and in walked someone delivering these beautiful yellow roses. And the little note attached said that they were from my boyfriend, Keon. And I was happy and I was excited because it was our anniversary. And at the time, I went to school at night to become a cosmetologist. And that night, after class, I come out and again, I'm, greeted with more flowers. And this time they were red roses. And I'm like, I wonder who these are from. And again, they were from Keon. So after a long day, I go home, I'm meeting up with my cousin Tia, and I get there and she walks up to me with more flowers, right? And this time these were white. They were white roses. And she also gave me a letter. And she's like, "Oh, these are from Keon." I'm like, "Yeah, right." and I go upstairs and I start reading this letter. And I kid you not, like this letter sends me all through the house. Like it's giving me clues, like I'm on a scavenger hunt. And ultimately leads to my daughter's room, her bedroom. And under the blanket on her bed, there was a box. And now by this time, Keon, he's on the phone. And he's like, "Open it." And I did. And it was a ring. And I was speechless at this point. And he told me that this ring was a promise to get married and, that he would take care of me. We would be a team and that I would no longer have to work so hard or struggle. And I'm like, yes, this is music to my ears, right? But there was one thing. He was in prison. Now, just to give you a little history, Keon and I are childhood friends. Our families lived in the same housing development, and when we met, I was 13 and he was 10. And I promise I'm not making this up, right? He always called me his wife, and I thought it was cute. But in my head, I'm like, okay, little boy. But we stayed connected throughout the years, and we became parents as teens, and then boom, he got arrested for a crime that he didn't commit and was sentenced to life in prison. And, shortly after sent to Walpole. And I was shocked. I was sad. I was like, yeah, there's no way that he did this, right? And in fact, that's what the word on the street was. So I began writing him and visiting him in Walpole, and shortly after, our feelings grew. Now, aside from his obviously good looks, right? Keon, I love that he is extremely intelligent. He is loyal. Family is important to him, as it is to me. And I like that he was concerned about my well-being and super supportive, even though he was there and I was here. So shortly after that promise that I told you about, we got married in Walpole. And we started setting immediate goals. His was obviously working on his case, and mine was finishing school. And then we moved to 3 to 5 year goals. At the time, he had learned about stocks and investments, and he began to teach me because generational wealth was something that we both wanted for our families. And we also talked about having all these properties and having a business, and it felt so good to have someone to share my interests with, right? And even though he was there, like, he was heavily involved in the household and would do whatever he could to help. For example, if I needed a babysitter, he was calling around and trying to help me find a babysitter. And this was long before free jail calls, right? And he would help the kids with their homework. And when I was studying for my real estate license, like, he would quiz me over the phone. Like, we were a team. And, everything, with his absence wasn't always good. I mean, at times I felt like he thought that I was, like, not being honest about where I was or what I was doing. And, this was mostly when I would miss his calls, right? And I can't call him back. So I'm like, you just gotta trust me, And then it was the fact that, he didn't understand time and the way the world moved out here. And some days I was super overwhelmed with things I had going on, like work or the kids' activities. And, I would visit him 2 to 3 times a week, and some weeks I just didn't because I couldn't. I was tired, and there was also stressful times, like due to money or bills or other expenses, like the kids needing something or my car breaks down, and it just would have been so helpful to have an extra income in the household. And then, aside from all of that, I was lonely. And I just wished that he could be here so that we could just spend time together. And so that I could do something other than working or being a mom, And so that he wouldn't be missing out on things like graduations and dance recitals and celebrations. But at some point, I had to tell myself, like, you know what? This is what it is, and this is what it's gonna be if he is in prison forever. And what did I do? I worked. I kept working and just trying to keep the faith and dreaming and hoping and praying for his freedom. And in 2020, thanks to the New England Innocence Project and a team of great lawyers, he was released and shortly after exonerated. Yes. And since then, Keon and I continue to set and achieve goals. That's still a thing. And I like to say that we are crushing it. We're really crushing it. We have 4 children. We have a newborn granddaughter. We have properties and investment portfolios. But the best thing for me is just spending time together and having that void filled. Like, it's truly amazing, you know? We no longer have to have visits in prison anymore, you know? Instead, now together we can visit countries worldwide. In fact, that's how he has gotten his name, the world traveler. You know? We are truly living the dream. Thank you.
Who all has been loved real good? I mean, real good, like that Luther Vandross, like. There's a reason why we say love is the ultimate language of liberation. Kenyatta's testimony shows the power of heart. It shows the enduring resistance of love. And when you are building in love, when you are planting love, it doesn't mean every day is going to be perfect, but it does mean freedom can bloom. When we think about wrongful conviction, it is natural to focus on the person incarcerated. But there are people who are affected, who are left behind. People on the other side of those prisons who are carrying a different type of sentence, who have to carry the load to maintain connections, to fight the fight. They have walls and gates and plexiglass and security guards and police and lawyers, just hurdle upon hurdle that they have to jump to reach the person that they love. And time just keeps going. Life just keeps on moving. I think about my little brother, and that little boy is gone. He doesn't know this world. And by the time he gets out, and I pray he does get out, I don't know how he's going to matriculate in a place that's so vastly different from what he saw when he was 15, because he will be nearly 70. My dad won't be here by then. His mom already died. When we support work to bring people home, people like Kenyatta's husband, Keon, we are supporting families. We are supporting communities. We are supporting futures. We are supporting love and goals, goal setting, people crushing it. We're cultivating ambition and aspiration, people truly living the dream, the pursuit of happiness, the beauty of love. But sometimes our dreams feel so far away, and it's hard to hold on to hope. Our last storyteller, Raymond Gaines, knows a lot about patience and perseverance. He spent 46 years in prison for a murder he did not commit, and he is still fighting for his full exoneration. Being there for others is what helps him fulfill his dreams. With a warm, loving, Luther Vandross-like welcome, let's bring Raymond Gaines to the stage.
I'm 61 years old. And up to this point, I've had 41 years of freedom stolen from my life. I'm placed in the DDU facility. The DDU is the prison within a prison, a place reserved for those that get disciplinary infractions that need to be removed from the general population. Unfortunately for me, I rode that rodeo many a times, and on this particular day, I am housed in this unit expecting a visit from my fiance. But in order to get to this visit, I got to submit to a skin search, which requires me to pass all of my clothing outside of the bar to an officer that's on the other side to go through my property to make sure that I'm not carrying anything through the corridors of the prison as I'm escorted to the visiting room. Now, I have two officers on each side of me flanked. One of them is holding my arms because that's part of the DDU procedure, that one of them must have a hand on you at all times. And I'm wondering to myself, and I'm wondering, can they sense this nervousness and this strangeness in my behavior? Because earlier, when I was passing my clothes and stuff through the bars, I had an object secreted in a corner, the only corner that couldn't be visible from the outside of the cell by the officer. And I had laid an object there that I wanted desperately to get to the visiting room. So when they passed me back my clothing, as I was putting everything back on, I slipped the letter into the bottom of my shoe. It was a letter that I had been working on for the past 3 days, and I was expecting a visit from my fiance, and it was her son that had wrote me a few days prior, and I was moved and taken aback by the fact that I knew he was going through a lot of personal problems in his own in his own life, and I knew that in his world, what he was going through was equally as, challenging as what I was going through with my incarceration. And for him to take that time out of his time to reach out to me and tell me that I had family support and loved ones that was, standing beside me as I went through this disciplinary ordeal with DDU. But little did he know, after 41 years of incarceration, I had long ago turned the paradigm from punishment into a sanctuary. And the hole was the only place that I could really listen to my own thoughts and be my most creative self. I'm a poet, I'm, a philosopher, I'm a lot of things that people don't know or can't see on the surface. But a lot of this was, created in my solitude, And so when they thought they was punishing me, they was making me better, because they was putting me in a situation where I was forced to grow, do introspection, and go inside myself and find what needed to be tweaked and made better. And so when I received this letter from this young man who happened to be 41 years old, and as I said earlier, was my fiance's son, and we had gained a rapport from talking over the telephone over a couple of years, and he welcomed me into the family with open arms. So I had an affinity for him. And I felt I needed to do something, to say something that might cast some light upon his journey and his path, or drop a gem on him that might, change the trajectory of his life course. And I dug inside myself, and I told this man things that I had never said out loud, never even put on paper. And I told him, shameful things about myself that I hadn't shared, in an effort to let him see that you're not that bad, man, and that you've been through some things like everybody in life. And you just need to, face your fears and the obstacles that stand in your life. And I said some things to him, but in order to say these things to him, I had to give up myself and say some things that were scathing and that, didn't show me in the best of light. But in doing that, there were some things said that I needed to say to myself. So let me get back on track. I said some things that took me a little bit off track. But what I was trying to say is, when we was going to the visiting room, and I had these gentlemen holding on to my body, and I'm trembling thinking about whether or not they can detect this in me, I finally get to the visiting room safely without incident. And they take the shackles and the handcuffs up off of me. I'm shackled at the feet and have handcuffs on a waist belt around my waist. And they take the cuffs and the shackles off me, and the two officers that escort me to the visiting room, they leave. And 45 seconds later, they bring my fiance to the other side. It's an enclosed room that's separated by a partition and a phone. No way to pass anything through the petition or anything. So when I see her come in, I look around and I see the officers are gone. So I slide the letter out and I set it up. I said, listen, this is what I sent to your son. This is what I want to send to your son. And I want you to hear what I said to him. I want you to be a part, to continue a part of your parenting process. And I want you to check what I said to him to see if it will fit, your program. So she listened to me as I read it, and I was about to say something that my eyes read ahead of me, and I knew what I was getting ready to say. But before I could say it, I felt this feeling inside me, and all of a sudden, I felt the warmness of tears coming down my face, because I know what I was getting ready to tell her, what I had said to her son. I was going to tell him that hope sprung eternal. I had said so many things up to that point that by the time I was about to say hope sprung eternal, it just took over me, and I went into a gut-wrenching cry. It was so turbulent that I had to put the phone down and turn around and bend over at the waist. I was jerking and, convulsing as though I had an imaginary puppeteer with strings on me, just making my body bounce and rock. And in that moment, it came as a rush, like a revelation, or, I knew in that instant that what I had said to this young man is something that I needed to hear all my life, coming from someone. And that vestige of hope that I had, that I was still hanging on to, that I sought to share with somebody else, the letter that I thought I wrote to him, it turned out to be a letter to myself. The things that I said to him, I was needing to hear. And after that visit, I talked to his mother, and I asked him, how did he receive this letter? And she told me, she said, I gave him the letter. We were sitting in the living room watching TV, and he eased off. He started reading, and he eased off into the bathroom. And he came out the bathroom. So I said, yeah, so his eyes was red, and I could tell he was crying. I said, oh, that's good. So it affected him. So I said, so did you see any noticeable changes in his behavior? I mean, what's happening? She said, nah, baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He cried. So I said, so, my takeaway with that is that, sometimes, people change in their own way, in their own time, and you can't set no schedule for nobody to, do right by themselves, you know what I mean? But that letter didn't have the desired effect that I wanted or thought that it would have on the young man. But I tell you what, I've kept this letter. It's been 8 years since I wrote this original letter that was in the bottom of my shoe that I brought to the visiting room. This is the same letter. It's not changed at all. And every time that I feel as though my life is going off track and I need to be realigned, that letter that I wrote to that young man, that I wrote to myself, I pull it out and I get realigned. And it's this line that I come to that really brings things home for me. And I don't have my doggone glasses. But I'm gonna try to do the best that I can from recollection. I said, and I refer back to this like I said when I get off track. I promise you, man, nothing is ever as hard to do as you imagine it to be. Or nothing, or see, this is a doggone, can I turn my back to have some light? Oh, thank you. Oh, man, bless you. All right, I promise you, man, nothing is ever as hard to do as you imagine or as terrible as your fears would have you believe. Once you make up your mind to take the first step to do good intentions with your heart, with good intentions in your heart to do the right thing, the universe will bring favorable karma to you and open up doors of new opportunities for you. And that's what I cling to after 4 years free.
Good evening. I haven't even said anything. My name is Radha Natarajan, and I have the honor of being the executive director of the New England Innocence Project. Thank you. I want to ask all of our brave storytellers, Steve, Kenyatta, and Raymond, to please come back out on stage so that we may show you how grateful we are for your strength, vulnerability, and generosity. It's not a simple thing to live through trauma like a wrongful conviction and then get up on stage and share such intimate moments in a room full of strangers. A full room, thank goodness, this year. But each year we have people who choose to come out here and, despite their nerves, speak directly to you. Why? Because not enough people know that wrongful convictions happen and are not rare occurrences. Not enough people know that wrongful convictions can be caused by so many things, like eyewitness misidentification, official misconduct, flawed forensics, false confessions, informant lies, and systemic racism. Not enough people know that once the government decides to zero in on someone and develop a false narrative about them, it is very difficult to get out from under that. Not enough people know about those things, but now you do. You know that innocent people like Steve Pina, Keon Sprinkle, and Raymond Gaines can be sentenced to die in prison and have to fight for decades just to be here on the stage with you. You know from Sean Ellis that this work is ongoing and that there are so many more people in prison who need us, everyone in this room, to keep fighting for them. You know from Kenyatta Moonsprinkle that when we fight for freedom, dreams can truly come true. And now I want to share with you a story about a dream of freedom that did come true. This story goes back to 1984 in Springfield, Massachusetts. A woman named Penny Anderson was murdered in her apartment. In the initial days, the police had no suspects, and pressure was mounting to get answers. Edward Wright quickly became an easy target. He was Penny Anderson's friend and the last person seen with her. And from the beginning, he told anyone who would listen that he was innocent. But the presumption of innocence only goes so far. Even though he was convicted of nothing, Eddie was forced to build his defense from a jail cell. And when he went to trial, the Commonwealth's witnesses did not stick to the script, but the prosecutors threatened them so they would comply. Eddie testified about what happened that night. He never hid the fact that he was friends with Miss Anderson and spent time with her, but he did not kill her. Nevertheless, a jury convicted him and sentenced him to prison for the rest of his life. But that's not where the story ends. Eddie relentlessly fought this injustice for himself, his family, and for the truth. Unfortunately, when someone is convicted, the system is designed to uphold that verdict at all costs. So there are tremendous obstacles to overturning even one conviction. In fact, most exonerees are turned away many times before a court is ever willing to listen. Eddie tried to overturn his conviction 5 times over 30 years. Even with significant evidence of innocence, the courts chose finality over justice. He then wrote to the New England Innocence Project. Stephanie Hartung, then a law professor, but now a senior staff attorney at the New England Innocence Project, began looking into Eddie's case. After her first visit to the prison, he had this to say to her: "Dear Professor Hartung, I cannot adequately put into words the hope you've given me just knowing that you and the New England Innocence Project are willing to go over my case from beginning to end." That's when Stephanie joined Eddie's journey to freedom. Soon after, I became a staff attorney at the New England Innocence Project, and I was responsible for overseeing the DNA testing in the case. The initial quote for that testing was $22,160. That was in 2017, when the New England Innocence Project was struggling financially and could not afford to pay that amount. Eddie knew this testing was crucial to proving his innocence, and he offered to pay for the testing himself with money he had received in a civil judgment for abuses that he had suffered in prison. Thanks to the support of this community and proceeds from events like tonight's, this remains the only time in the organization's history that a client ever had to pay for their own testing. The DNA testing supported what Eddie had always said. His DNA was not on any items connected to the murder, and another man's was. Stephanie and I knew then that we were going to make a 6th attempt to overturn Eddie's wrongful conviction. But to pursue Eddie's dreams of freedom, we needed to assemble a dream team. We brought on Isaac Seidel-Goli, now at Quinn Emanuel, and Nigel Tampton, counsel at Skadden. We formed a great partnership centered by an intense work ethic with a singular focus on getting Eddie freed and exonerated. But we were not the only ones. Making dreams of freedom possible takes a community of passionate people. And I'm now going to ask all of those who worked on Eddie's case who are here tonight to come up on stage with me. It truly takes all of us. The people up on stage here, those who supported Eddie over so many decades, including his incredible wife, Mimi, and this community who has allowed this organization to thrive. And now that I have more of the dream team here with me, I want to tell you all the rest of the story. On International Wrongful Conviction Day, October 2nd, 2023, the team filed Eddie's 6th motion for new trial. In addition to the DNA results, there was so much other evidence of Eddie's innocence, including the fact that another man had confessed to the crime twice. But that's not all. We had also uncovered that the prosecution had hidden evidence from Eddie for all this time and that a police officer had lied to the jury during the trial. With all of the evidence demonstrating that Eddie was wrongfully convicted, the prosecution had an opportunity to join us in correcting the injustice, but they chose instead to keep pushing a false narrative. After contested litigation that spanned about 1.5 years, we got the decision that Eddie had been dreaming of for 4 decades. The judge found that because of official misconduct, including the prosecution hiding significant evidence for nearly 4 decades, and a detective blatantly lying to the jury, Eddie's wrongful conviction could not stand. We actually hardly had an opportunity to read the decision before we jumped in a car and headed to MCI Norfolk. And here we are, outside the prison, brimming with excitement, before telling Eddie the incredible news. That night, we sat in the same small visiting room at MCI Norfolk, and we talked to Eddie in earnest this time about his dreams of freedom. It felt overwhelming that after so long, there would soon be a new reality and new possibilities. There was hope, even joy. Eddie told us that he would go back to his cell that night, put on some music, and dance. It would take 2 months more for Eddie's reality to actually change. The prosecution fought us at every step. But thanks to the incredible support of this community, generous folks right here in this room, because of the tenacity of this dream team, starting with Eddie himself, on July 31st, 2025, Eddie finally walked out of the same courthouse where he was wrongfully convicted in 1984 and into the arms of his wife and so many supporters. And on August 21st, Eddie Wright was finally fully exonerated when all the charges against him were dropped. Please enjoy these photos of Eddie living his dreams of freedom while we welcome him to the stage for the first time as an exoneree with his wife, Mimi Olivier. From this entire team. Oh my God. This has been a dream of his. Seriously, a freedom dream is picking up Nigel. Yes. Eddie, from this entire team, we want to tell you, although he never listens to me. Eddie, we want to tell you what an honor it is to represent you, to know you, to have been part of your life, part of your journey, to be your friends. Our lives are forever changed because of you, because of your thoughtfulness and your brilliance. And we love you very much, and we're so happy that you're home. Do you want to say a few words? Mike's yours.
Thank you. I usually don't talk much, but I say this. The team that I had working for me, if I didn't have that team, I wouldn't be here. They were the most amazing people I've ever met. The team pulled together, they fought hard for me. Even when things seemed that they weren't going right, they dug in, they didn't give up, they fought. I mean, they fought for me. Sometimes, you know, it was rough, but we stayed, they kept fighting, and I am where I am. I hope that this team that I have, that they're able to come together again and work for somebody else and get somebody else out. There was a famous case, which everybody knows, the O.J. trial with Johnny Cochran. They called them the Dream Team. No, that's the Dream Team. That's the real Dream Team. One of the things everybody asks me since I've been out is, what do you feel? And I tell everybody the same thing. I'm not good with expressing my feelings to people. I'm just not that way. But I tell you this, every moment that I've been out on this side of the wall, whether I'm outside sitting there under trees, whether I'm walking down the street, whether I'm in the store shopping, whether I'm sitting in a car, whether I'm talking to someone on the telephone, I enjoy it. I'm living the dream, you know, because I'm on this side of the wall, I'm free. I lost a lot of time, I lost a lot of people. But I'm here. And I hope you guys really, really, you know, see this for what it is and help. You know, the team, they need money to help them do what they do. And I hope people give. I hope people understand that this doesn't happen without you guys. If they don't have your support, we don't be here. Thank you.
Hard to keep going. But we have to, because actually Eddie's case is just one example of how the New England Innocence Project fights injustice and pursues people's dreams of freedom. And I am now going to introduce you to G. Christo, our incredible Director of Development, who's going to tell you how you can make more of these dreams a reality.
Hi, everybody. I don't know about you, but my eyes are a little damp. Let's just have another round of applause for Eddie and his entire team. Eddie, we are so happy you're home. My name is G. Christo, and I have the distinct privilege of being the development director at NEEP. It is such a gift to work with the NEEP team and to work with the exonerees. I feel so grateful. For 20 years, over 20 years, NEEP has stood against injustice in a system that prioritizes finality over justice. Our work is larger than mounting one legal challenge at a time. It is an act of resistance as we educate and advocate for the truth, freedom, and a more just future for our families. The fight against wrongful convictions is a fight for our collective freedom. And with your help, people in prison don't just have to dream about freedom. They can realize it. Freedom includes those moments like the ones that Stephen described of having his mother hold his face in her hands again. It's the story that Kenyatta shared of falling in love and seeing the world with the person you want to be with. And in the words of Ray Champagne, freedom is breath. Stories of freedom like the ones you heard tonight are only possible because of financial investments from our community. Our fight requires a groundswell of support from donors like you. While our collective focus continues to be pulled to the national arena, injustice continues to happen here every day. It happens in New England all the time. And while our organization remains strong, our access to federal investment, federal funds has dissipated. And we're facing a more competitive than ever nonprofit fundraising ecosystem. We can't pursue all the possible paths to freedom for our clients without money. So with that in mind, and given that I'm the development director, I'm sure you know what's coming next. Our goal for this evening is $450,000. Yeah, it is good. I thank you, I agree. And I'm even happier to report that we are only $65,000 away from that goal. Tonight, we're asking folks in this room and our friends watching at home to make a gift so that our community, especially those who remain dreaming, have a chance at freedom, love, and support. On the seat, you should have found a pledge card that provides many, many ways to give, including by scanning our QR code or using the text to give option. You can also use the pledge card to give by check or make a commitment via a donor-advised fund. You will be sure that I will call you to follow up. Any gift you can make is meaningful to our community. And as if the fight for freedom wasn't enough of an incentive, thanks to Jason and Amy Stone, we have a special Celtics tickets drawing available to anybody who donates $150 or more. And I'm not just talking like any Celtics tickets. This is like behind the bench, okay? It's like they're gonna bring you your food. You get parking. You know, like it's a really good seat. So anyone who donates $150 or more will be entered into this drawing, and you can do it tonight. If you run into any kind of loading error, hop onto the City Winery guest Wi-Fi. I'm not letting you get out of it. You gotta give. And now for the part I'm actually very excited about. If you're in the room, you better get ready, because we're turning this into a friendly competition, a battle of the ages. Here's how it works. As soon as you make a gift on your phone or with a pledge card, throw that hand up in the air, and a volunteer will rush over and hand you a ring of light, representing a dream of freedom that you're fueling tonight. Once you've got it, hold it high and let the room see that you've made a life-changing gift. But we're splitting the room into Team Rada and Team Sean, okay? So the right side of the room is Team Sean, and the left side of the room is Team Rada. And now you're all gonna donate. So get those pledge cards, fill them out, and send those hands up. They're gonna be in the audience, getting ready. All right, I see some hands over here. Where are Sean and Rada? They're back there. Okay, I see it.
Come in. Okay.
It's getting hot in here. Okay, the bracelets are coming down.
Okay, here we go.
Here you go. You got one right here.
All right, this is my room. This is my side. You know we have to beat Sean because Sean has a Netflix series, okay? What do we have? So I'm counting on you. I see people filling out their pledge cards. Come on, guys.
I don't know,
listen,
Sean.
So listen, Rob the calls me Hollywood.
Yes.
Let's show him prove that I'm Hollywood. Do we have somebody? Okay, I got my first one.
Come on. No, I'm on this side.
Hands high, everybody. Raise
okay, we got two over here.
Oh, I see a bracelet over here.
Three over here.
I see a phone.
Four over here.
Even if you're making a pledge on your phone, raise that hand up.
You gotta raise the hand. I see some back
I see some
here.
hands. I see some hands.
I
You gotta
feel
put
like
your hand up.
Sean's
You wanna
side is
donate.
winning.
Wait, you guys, you can't do this to me.
Yes,
Wait,
yes,
I see a
yes.
hand raised.
My side is rocking,
my side
brother.
needs
Where you at?
Oh, yes.
Yes, their hands are raised.
If we
Raise
could
them
get
high.
the QR code
Can we
back on
get
the
a bracelet,
screen,
please?
that
Can
would
we
be
get
great.
a bracelet right here, please?
I see a hand right here.
I need a bracelet.
I see
need a bracelet right here.
Oh man, Rada, I don't know.
I'm coming back with
It's
your
getting
bracelet.
serious.
This is
coming
not
back.
good.
Good news, the QR code's back on the
I
screen.
see so
Can I have a
many
bracelet?
hands here. You know, I think that I see a hand right here,
$150,
right in front,
and
but
you can
no
see the
bracelet.
back
Where's
of
my
Jalen Brown's
bracelet?
head.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be
Absolutely.
right there.
Bracelet.
John, did you take the bracelets from my side? Did you take the bracelets?
Because my side's winning.
It is
We
winning.
winning.
Wait, no.
We winning. Let's go.
Look.
Oh
High
my
five,
God.
Excuse me, I need a bracelet over here, please.
Raise those hands on Rada's side. I'm with you now. Raise them up.
right
Raise them
here.
up. Bring them up. Give him
I
the
got one
legs.
right here.
Look at all those dreams of
I got
freedom.
you.
I got two right here.
Let's
two.
go. Let's
We
win
love to
this.
see it.
Bracelet
right here.
action.
I got one over here.
All right, it's heating up here. It's heating up.
Appreciate you so
It's getting
much.
serious.
I think my side's doing really
My
good.
mom's
Right? It took a
hand
little
up.
longer,
Bracelets in the
but
back.
I think we're
Bracelet-
working
I
it.
see you with the bracelet. I thank you so much.
Even if you haven't
We're
finished
winning.
filling out the
We're
pledge card, raise your
winning.
hand. Make the commitment. Thank you,
not
Mom.
sabotaging my
Running.
side, are
I owe you that. We're
got Sean's
winning.
mother over
I
here.
appreciate you.
She's sabotaging
I
it.
appreciate you. Bracelet.
I don't know, I'm doing pretty good. Look at that. Look at all the lights.
Look at all the lights.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look at
If you're
all
on my side,
the
please keep
lights.
your lights up.
Lift them
Yeah,
up.
keep your
Lift
lights
them
up. Keep your lights up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I see someone
Thank you so
someone's hand, but they don't have a light. We need a light.
Lights.
Oh, we have so many lights needed over here.
Maybe she turn the lights down low.
Ryan is concerned about the equity distribution
Turn
of
the lights
lights.
down low and have the
One,
bracelets
two,
bling blinging. Bracelets. Yes.
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 Wave them high.
I don't know. It's a pretty tight
think?
race. I think.
Hold on.
You know
G.
what I think?
If I can, because I don't see my wife with a bracelet. I mean, she ain't donated yet. That means she ain't donated yet. I gotta call my wife out.
You know what?
Okay.
She's got the bracelet.
I just want to make sure.
I think we all win tonight.
What? No, but I really win though, right?
Raise them up one more time, really high.
Yes.
Raise them up.
Hollywood side, let's go.
I don't know, Rhoda.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think Sean wins. I know. But we really do all win. Thank you all so much for donating. Thank you for supporting NEEP and fueling the dreams of freedom. We are so grateful.
Next time.
Please welcome the Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Siegel, and I am a founding trustee of the New England Innocence Project, which means I'm older than almost all of you in the room. And I'm currently, it's my distinct honor to chair its Board of Trustees. And it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the 2025 Arc of Justice Award winner tonight. The Arc of Justice Award recognizes the special contributions of a community member who bends the arc of the moral universe towards justice. The principle behind the Arc of Justice Award is that the arc only bends toward justice when people pull it there. It does not bend on its own. Before I turn to tonight's awardee, I want to recognize past recipients of the Arc of Justice and Marching Toward Freedom Awards. Some are in the audience tonight, and we are so grateful for your continued contributions to this community. Thank you. This year, we celebrate a man whose relentless support of a wrongfully convicted woman helped make her dreams of freedom come true, and whose support of the New England Innocence Project for nearly a decade has helped us realize the dreams of so many others fighting for freedom. It is our distinct honor to present the 2025 Arc of Justice Award to Al Caineb. Al is a quiet leader, creating lasting impact and impressions without seeking and indeed rejecting recognition for many of his contributions. His leadership in business is known, but his leadership in supporting individuals and community organizations, both local and international, is often unseen except to those of us who witness it firsthand. Al became a champion for those who need one. When Al learned about Nancy Wagner, a woman wrongfully convicted and sentenced to a life sentence without the possibility of parole, he became a fierce advocate for her freedom. Nancy was wrongfully convicted of the murder of her beloved daughter, Sarah. She spent 30 years in prison before she was able to demonstrate through scientific evidence from multiple experts that Sarah's death was a tragic accident. As you will hear, Al's relentless support of Nancy, both during and after her incarceration, has made a profound impact on her. Nancy was supposed to fly in from Florida yesterday just to be a part of this special tribute to Al. Unfortunately, she fell ill and could not travel. She decided to record some remarks. So let's listen to Nancy now.
I am really disappointed not being able to be there tonight. I wanted to share in person how special Al is. I am honored to call him my friend. I met Al Caineb through a mutual friend, Paul McDivitt. Paul volunteered at MCI Framingham, the only women's prison in Massachusetts, where I did 30 years for a crime I did not commit. Because of Al's support, I had hoped that justice would be served. He gave me hope that only I dreamed of. And when I did leave MCI Framingham, he was there for me. He's helped me in so many ways. His support has been unconditional. He's helped so many other people in one way or another. He didn't want to come here tonight because he didn't want the spotlight on him. He is a very humble person. Al, I wish I was sitting next to you right now. I am in spirit. He so deserves this award.
Even though Nancy was not feeling well, she wanted to share just a little bit of what Al means to her. And she is not the only one Al has supported over the years. Al has been instrumental in ensuring the strength and stability of the New England Innocence Project, becoming a trusted advisor in some of the most difficult times and helping NEEP grow to what it is today. Al does not abandon people or organizations that are struggling. Instead, he commits to their potential and helps them thrive. NEEP would not be where it is today without Al Caineb. I also want to take a moment tonight to recognize Al's brother, John Caineb, who sadly passed away 4 years ago. Like Al, John supported the New England Innocence Project and was essential to getting legislation passed in Massachusetts that continues to support wrongfully convicted people today. He devoted much of his life to this cause, and his legacy lives on in this community. We are deeply moved by the commitment of both Al and John Caineb to this life-changing work. Al is beloved and revered by his 4 adult children, 17 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, many of whom are here today with us. He has touched the lives of so many he knows, as well as many he does not, across New England and the world. Throughout his persistent and generous spirit, Al continues to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. It is now my honor to ask Al Kaineb to come up to the stage and accept the 2025 Arc of Justice Award.
Wow, you guys know how to do it. Well, my brother, I think a lot of you may know, really devoted a good chunk of his life and all of his political connections and economic connections to your goal. And he did it over a long period of time, passed away 4 years ago. But he also inspired me, and you know, if he was giving big, I should give big. And I feel very good about this award, not particularly that I'm meritorious for it, but that it's from a wonderful organization like this one. And, you know, if they want to make a misjudgment, and that's okay with me. So thank you, and any of the people in your team that RADA has assembled are first quality. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Al, for your support of this organization and Nancy at times when they needed you most. We hope everyone will reflect your generous spirit tonight and in the future. We are in a moment that we can only describe as those before us described as the fierce urgency of now. We are in a time that is terrifying, but on a night like this, we can be audacious and filled with hope and love and a radical empathy and generosity to give back as Al has. There are so many ways to keep supporting this work. Share what you've learned here tonight with your friends and family. Tell them that they too can invest in people's dreams of freedom and help them actualize it into reality. They can support the New England Innocence Project. Consider hosting a house party so they can hear those stories themselves. Become a sustainer of freedom with a monthly donation. The fight for freedom is ongoing, and communities rely on your steadfast commitment. Check out the digital program book for other ways to get involved. Sign up for the e-newsletter and upcoming events. Every bit matters. Sometimes I think we make the mistake of thinking you gotta have big, deep pockets to give back. But a little bit goes a long way, and we all get together and put our little bit in one big pot. It can make a big change. Continue being an ambassador about wrongful convictions. Speak out. Be unafraid, and even when you are scared, do it scared, but do it prepared. Movements can create change, and together we can free more people and reunite families. And when we free people, we free ourselves, because there is no freedom while other people are bound. We're at the close of our formal program. I want to thank everyone here, as well as those who are watching at home. Hey, boo hays! For being a part of tonight. You are the beautiful resistance. You are the joy. You are the reason. I know that sometimes and some days, especially with this administration, it's hard to find the hope. But everyone here and everyone at home and everyone on the other side of that wall who's awake, we woke up today. We woke up today. That is a gift. It is a privilege. It is a call to action. It means we are possible, so others are possible too. We have a duty to give back. So that is all I'm going to say. Thank you for letting me be your host tonight. Thank you, New England Innocence Project, for all your work. Thank you, Al. Thank you, all the sponsors. And now it's time for some dessert, some coffee, some joy. Let's delight and say good night.